Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Aphrodite, aka Madam Suave. If you are new here, I would like to welcome you to the community. Be sure to check the description box below and like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to. Remember that energy is timeless and fluid. This could be past, present, or future energy. Flip roles if they need to be reversed, and only take what resonates, leaving the rest for who it is meant for. So today, what is in the energy or what spirit is wanting to communicate with you, something that you are learning and understanding, or something that has kind of worked in your favor, is that you understand that spirit's will is better and greater than your own, and because of this, the wheel has turned in your favor. So on the other side of this wheel, you had someone who was trying to control the wheel and steer it away from you in their favor, playing with destiny or the will of destiny, which cannot be changed. So in doing so, the will took control of them and they cannot let go. So kind of the image that I had in my head, or what I was picturing, is someone being handcuffed to the steering wheel of a moving bomb, a moving vehicle that is like laced with bombs. Okay, so basically a moving bomb that is headed for a cliff. All right, it is not their will to steer, and their inability to control their own is what sealed their fate. Now, this is kind of something that you guys are picking up on, or one thing that we have been picking up on in the energy is almost this frustration or just the lack of control of someone who is like I said, on the other side of this wheel. Okay, so in trusting spirit and following a lead, you know that whatever you don't know, spirit does. So you are using what you know and allowing spirit to fill in and take care of the rest. By you literally, and I don't want to say like literally doing nothing, but just by you kind of trusting in spirit, spirit has broken the will of those on the opposite side or losing side of the wheel. And the image that I was getting for this is like losing your arms, having your arms snapped off by the current or the speed and power of the wheel. Like, have you ever tried to fight the wind? It doesn't hurt the same as the breaking of flesh or the snapping of bones. In fact, it is void of pain. It moves around you, and the most violent winds move you from where your feet are planted on the ground, because its power and strength is greater, just like the will of God, and only a fool or the devil himself would pick a losing fight. So the 8th letter, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it is the 26th. Okay, so the 8th letter in the alphabet is H, and in Hebrew it represents God's presence. It's also the first letter in the word hail. Okay, and the gates are opening. There is something called a fire triangle, but in this case we are talking about an air triangle with fire in the middle of that triangle. Okay, so imagine there is a triangle that within its center is a ball of fire. Okay, so when a fire has more air than it needs, the combustion process becomes more efficient, resulting in a hotter and brighter fire. This is what your enemies feel the closer that they get to the glooming gates. And we know air not only to represent, spirits, but as well as thoughts, right? So they are being tortured within their own minds. Everything is becoming louder and clearer. So at this time, you have to be more centered and grounded so that you can control and direct the fire out by maintaining perfect harmony within. A triangle is pointed in different directions and can extend in any of these said directions. However, a circle has no choice but to go around in a circle. You can choose which direction the energy flows, but they will remain dancing in the same circle. Once again, sorry, but however, it is time for you to make a choice here. Okay, control the circle or let the circle control you. So the more that you resist spirit, the more it works against you, and the heart is very, very emphasized here. Okay, following the heart is emphasized here, listening to the heart is emphasized here. Okay, but also paying attention to the rhythm of the heart, because there's some sort of situation. I'm not exactly sure what the situation is. You guys are going to have to know what it is for you. I will place additional messages on the screen, and I'll make sure that I let you guys know ahead of time so that you know to be on the lookout. But something has the potential of turning karmic if there is no change, because you're sitting on what you know but not doing anything with it, and you're going to end up shooting yourself. Okay, yeah, what I was getting is that you've been riding the wheel of destiny but too afraid to jump off, and you're about to miss your exit. Okay, it's like this train is getting ready to leave the station and it's not going to circle back because it's been circling for so long. Or this could also be something that you were feeling in the past and you decided that you didn't want to miss your exit. Okay, so that fire is burning more because spirit has been on that ass. Okay, spirit has been on that ass, and they're like, what are you doing? Why are you still, you know what I'm saying? So at this time, your mind may be being bombarded with like a lot of what ifs, or maybe you're constantly asking yourself, what if? You're not wanting to find out what will happen if you don't take this step, because you don't want to wonder, you want to know. And this is the only way that you're going to find out. Okay, thinking about doing it is feeling worse than actually doing it because the desire is too strong. So like I said, for some of you, this could be like, it's almost like, I don't want to say like necessarily like a chastisement, but for some of you, maybe you are being kind of chastised in a way by spirits, okay, or being pushed, being urged. Like I said, a fire is being lit under your ass, okay? So you have examined and analyzed it under a microscope. You've measured it and looked at it from every possible angle. It's been thought out so well that there is no more thinking that you can do, okay? So you may have been like teetering and tottering between two decisions and have come to the conclusion that you have no choice. And what I mean by you have no choice is you have no choice but kind of maybe to like make that decision, like okay, but it's like yeah, you're saying I have no choice but to do this, whatever this is, okay, whatever this is. But you are also placing more value somewhere that isn't necessary for what you want or are trying to achieve, and is actually causing more stress and doing the opposite of the intended purpose. These may have been your own thoughts or thoughts being planted in your head, but was starting to take away from everything else built, okay? For some of you, this may be pertaining to you and someone else, but what I was getting is that the things that matter to you don't matter to the other person. So what you are trying to convey is being misread. So if this is like some sort of like gesture or something, it's becoming bigger than them, or this is how they feel, because it's like you're so focused and zeroed in on it that it's becoming more about how you feel, and you've kind of lost sight of them. So the focus is no longer there because it's not the most important to them. And you know, typically that's what a gesture is about and what it should be, and also convey, you know, showing that you care about what they care about, or at least showing them that you kind of pay attention, okay? So there's a need to balance between the thinking and the showing, or the planning and the showing, because 3 no call no shows get you fired, okay? And that is if they are being generous, okay? But the lack of is becoming a liability to their peace, which is something that they value. So if you aren't showing that you value their peace, then you are also showing that you do not value them, okay? And like I said, this is just how they are feeling. So whether, you know, that is true or not, okay? Whether that is true or not, this is what is being conveyed to them. All right, maybe this is something that you are understanding, or something that you got advice about. So for someone, you may be like downsizing your idea, or trusting that what you have already done is enough, or the emotion that is felt, okay, is also enough. Now I was getting that you may be having some intrusive thoughts, okay? You may be having some intrusive thoughts, or kind of just like yeah, it's feeling like the thing that I was getting about the intrusive thoughts is that maybe you're thinking about, you're putting a lot of effort into something, and you're like afraid that it's not actually going to speak to them or speak to their heart, or it's not going to have the impact that you want. But this is the wrong thing to be thinking, and the focus is in the wrong direction, okay? Like you don't need to be thinking or like overthinking or rethinking anything, okay? So the closing advice for this message is do what you know and not what you have to question. Also, beware of anything out of character or any abnormalities in your dreams at this time. Do not let your mind play tricks on you, okay? So if it seems odd, it's probably for a reason. That is the end of today's message. I hope that you got something from this message. I hope that it was helpful to you in some way. If you enjoy my content, my energy, my channel, etc., I do ask that you like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to. I'll see you guys on next time. Love you all. Bye.